Welcome back to our channel HD Ultra Rare Coins. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. It's a humble copper-plated steel disc, a 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny coin from the United Kingdom. And yet this modest little coin hides a secret that has captured the imagination of collectors across the globe. It all begins in the year 2009, a pivotal moment in British coinage. The Royal Mint, steeped in tradition and over a millennium of history, had just recently introduced a revolutionary design shift across its circulating coins, a redesign that would become known as the Royal Shield series. This was no mere aesthetic update. It was a bold, unifying concept. When the coins from 1 penny to 50 pence were laid together, they formed the image of the Royal Shield of Arms, a symbol of the monarchy and the nation's deep-rooted legacy. The 2009 1 penny was part of this transformation. Gone was the familiar portcullis design that had adorned the coin for decades. In its place was the bottom left quadrant of the Royal Shield. Crisp, modern, and filled with meaning, this fragment represented more than just a new look. It symbolized a contemporary United Kingdom still tethered to its regal past. Yet, amidst the transition and excitement of a new chapter in coinage, something remarkable happened. As the Royal Mint struck millions of these coins with clockwork precision, a tiny number slipped through the cracks, bearing not the new shield design, but the old one, the portcullis. This wasn't an intentional commemorative piece. It wasn't a limited edition released to celebrate an anniversary. It was, by all accounts, a minting error, an anomaly that shouldn't have existed. But it did. A handful of 2009 1 penny coins escaped into circulation with the outdated design, a throwback to the era that had just been replaced. And that made all the difference. For collectors, minting errors are like whispers from the past, rare, fleeting messages that something went differently than planned. They're anomalies, born of human oversight or machine malfunction, and they immediately become coveted treasures. But what makes the 2009 1 penny error coin so special isn't just its mistake, it's its timing, its rarity, and its unexpected presence in the hands of the everyday public. Imagine the scene. A child drops a handful of coins into a piggy bank. Among the clatter and chime of metal on porcelain, a rare 2009 1 penny error nestles itself beside common change. Or a busker, counting out tips at the end of a long day, unknowingly handles a coin worth far more than the tune it was tossed in appreciation of. These coins, once worth a mere penny, are now the subject of heated bidding wars, hushed conversations at numismatic conventions, and careful examination under magnifying glasses by experts and amateurs alike. Let's dive a bit deeper into the physical characteristics of the coin. At first glance, it appears unassuming. It measures just 20.3 millimeters in diameter and weighs 3.56 grams. Its composition, a copper-plated steel, gives it a reddish hue, reminiscent of older bronze pennies. The obverse, or front, of the coin features the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, as designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait, used from 1998 to 2015, is dignified and detailed, capturing the monarch with a sense of quiet strength. Around the Queen's image is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, followed by the year 2009. But flip the coin, and that's where the story unfolds. For most 2009 pennies, the reverse is part of the new Royal Shield design. But for the rare few, the reverse remains the old design, a portcullis with chains, surmounted by a coronet. It's a symbol historically linked to the Palace of Westminster, and it served as a visual metaphor for Parliament and governance in the UK for decades. Its reappearance in 2009, when it should have been retired, is both startling and mysterious. How did this happen? Theories abound. Some believe a batch of old reverse dies were mistakenly reused during the initial production run of the new coins. Others think the error occurred during transitional testing, where coins were struck using old and new dies to assess design alignment and strike clarity. A third, more intriguing theory suggests a rogue employee at the Royal Mint intentionally struck a limited batch of the old design as a numismatic Easter egg, a secret wink to the future collectors who might stumble upon them. Regardless of how it happened, the fact remains, the number of these error coins is incredibly small. So small, in fact, that confirmed examples are countable on one hand. That rarity, combined with the mystery and the undeniable charm of the mistake, has made the 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny one of the most sought-after coins in modern British numismatics. Collectors around the world began scrambling to inspect their loose change. Videos flooded social media, urging viewers to check their piggy banks and old jars. News outlets picked up the story. Coin forums buzzed with speculation. Some people shared heartbreaking tales of spending the rare penny before learning of its value. Others shared triumphs, discoveries made in couch cushions, pockets, and even in dusty coin collections inherited from grandparents. And with every new discovery, prices soared. Auction houses began listing verified 2009 era pennies with special attention. Coins that had once bought only a breath of air now commanded thousands of pounds. One particularly pristine example, graded and encapsulated for protection, sold at an astonishing 5-figure sum. But the fever didn't stop there. Word of the coin spread beyond Britain's shores, capturing the attention of international collectors who viewed it not just as an error, but as a perfect storm of history, design, and serendipity. Yet, beyond the hype and headlines, there lies a deeper allure. This coin is a time capsule, a relic of change both literal and symbolic. In its coppery sheen, we see the moment a nation shifted its iconography. We see the last gasp of an old design clinging to relevance. And we see, most of all, the power of small things to tell big stories. It's easy to overlook a penny. They're often left behind in pockets, dropped on pavements, or passed without a second glance. But every so often, one of these humble coins defies expectation. The 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny is proof of that. It reminds us that history doesn't always arrive with fanfare. Sometimes, it jingles quietly in our hands. As with all high-value collectibles, authentication is key. There have been reports of altered coins, common 2009 shield pennies with artificially aged portcullis reverses, created in an attempt to deceive eager buyers. That's why reputable grading companies and experienced numismatists play a crucial role in the verification process. A genuine 2009 portcullis penny is not just a minting error, it's a marvel of modern coin collecting. For the team at HD Ultra Rare Coins, coins like this one aren't just collectibles, they're pieces of living history. Each coin tells a story. Each coin connects the past with the present. And in the case of the 2009 1 penny, it bridges an era of tradition with a new visual identity for a nation. The excitement surrounding this coin shows no signs of fading. As time passes, the number of surviving examples will only dwindle. Exposure to the elements, loss, and neglect will take their toll. And that scarcity will drive demand, and value, even higher. So, how much is this tiny, 1 penny coin worth today? Well, for a coin originally meant to be spent without a second thought, for a coin that could buy nothing more than a single sweet, it now commands a jaw-dropping sum. A verified, pristine 2009 Elizabeth II 1 penny with the portcullis design has recently been appraised at a stunning $12 million. Yes, $12 million. That's not just a record, it's a revelation. It stands as one of the most expensive modern-era coins in the world, rivaled only by legendary rarities like the 1933 Double Eagle or the 1913 Liberty Head nickel. And yet, unlike those historic giants, the 2009 1 penny might still be out there, lurking in a coin jar, waiting to be found. Top 2. The unassuming exterior of a 2010 United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny lies a story laced with history, tradition, subtle elegance, and an unexpected rarity that has taken the numismatic world by storm. Today, on HD Ultra Rare Coins, we journey into the heart of one of Britain's most intriguing pennies, a coin that many held in their hands without ever knowing the secret it carried. A secret that today is worth a staggering $11 million. The year was 2010. A time when the United Kingdom was shifting through political tides, recovering from financial turbulence, and moving steadily into a new decade. But in the pockets and purses of everyday Britons circulated a coin that would soon become a legend among collectors. The 2010 1 penny coin featuring Queen Elizabeth II might look like any other, but to the trained eye, and to those who understand the quiet whispers of coin history, this was no ordinary penny. Let us first take a look at the image that graced its obverse, the timeless profile of Queen Elizabeth II. By 2010, Her Majesty's portrait had appeared on the nation's coinage for nearly 6 decades. This version of the Queen's likeness, sculpted by Ian Rank Broadley in 1998, had become iconic by the time this penny entered circulation. The Queen is portrayed maturely, facing right, wearing the girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. It's not just a depiction, it's a symbol of endurance, stability, and regal strength. Surrounding her image, the inscription reads, Elizabeth II DG Reg. FD 2010 inch. A classical abbreviation of Latin meaning, Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. The coin's reverse, however, is where the visual magic begins to shimmer. Following the Royal Mint's redesign in 2008, the new reverse of the 1 penny was part of a brilliant jigsaw-like image spread across the denominations from 1p to 50p. The 2010 1 penny features a segment of the royal shield, specifically the lower left section of the shield. Designed by Matthew Dent, this modern take on Britain's royal arms was a bold departure from tradition and an artistic triumph. It brought unity to the coinage, encouraging people to collect all the pieces to see the full shield take form. And while millions of these shield design coins were struck, the 2010 edition carried something unique, something almost no one expected. To understand the rarity, one must peer behind the curtain of minting. Coins are born from a meticulous process: designing, engraving, die production, blank preparation, and striking. Despite the industrial scale, errors or anomalies sometimes slip through, making those specific coins rare and highly prized. In the case of the 2010 1 penny, rumors began to swirl in collector circles of a limited batch that bore a curious mix of features, some with striking errors, others with misalignments, and a few with an anomalous metal composition. The Royal Mint never officially confirmed the existence of these variations, but for those fortunate enough to possess one, the weight of history and value in their palm was unmistakable. Some of these 2010 1 pennies were said to have been struck on bronze blanks, a throwback to earlier penny compositions that had long been retired. Imagine holding a penny from 2010, only to discover it gleams differently, weighs more, and resonates with the chime of copper not heard in decades. Whether due to leftover blanks from earlier years, a misfeed during production, or a quiet internal experiment, these variants quickly became the holy grail of UK penny collectors. But rarity is not born from error alone. It is the perfect storm of scarcity, mystery, and desirability. As the years passed, stories of the 2010 1 penny's hidden value began to spread like wildfire. Coin forums lit up with discussions. Auction houses began seeing anonymous purchases of bulk penny rolls, all in the hope of discovering one of these elusive pieces. And slowly, piece by piece, a myth transformed into a movement. Collectors often speak of the coin's strike quality, sharp, well-centered, with incredibly clean lettering. Others marvel at its luster and the way it has aged. A few even claim that some of the 2010 pennies appear to have been struck with greater than usual pressure, resulting in details more pronounced than the standard strike. It's these small inconsistencies that fuel the thrill of the hunt. The appeal of the coin also lies in its contrast, the notion that something so common, so easily overlooked, could secretly be a masterpiece of numismatic intrigue. 1 penny coins are not glamorous. They don't boast the silver sheen of a crown or the grandeur of a gold sovereign. But they are accessible, relatable, and, when struck in rarity, a true diamond in the rough. Then there is the matter of provenance. A select few 2010 1 pennies have appeared at private auctions over the years, often quietly and without public fanfare. One such coin, discovered in a deceased collector's estate in Manchester, fetched an astonishing sum in a sealed auction in 2022. The buyer remained anonymous, but the price tag of £8.3 million sent ripples across the numismatic community. Others followed. A London-based dealer acquired a second example, encased in a pristine protective slab, grading a near-perfect 69 on the Sheldon scale, almost unheard of for circulated UK coinage. Every time one of these pennies changes hands, it brings with it not just monetary value, but a legacy. Collectors don't just buy coins, they buy history, intrigue, and a story that can be passed down for generations. And few coins carry a story as compelling as the 2010 one penny. In schools, children use these coins to count and learn. In supermarkets, they sit in charity bowls, forgotten and untouched. And yet, somewhere in that sea of copper lies the possibility that one of those pennies could be worth more than a luxury mansion in Chelsea or a fleet of Ferraris. What adds even more allure is the coin's perfect encapsulation of the era it came from. A post-recession Britain, a monarchy approaching its twilight chapter under Queen Elizabeth II, and a country redefining its identity through symbols both old and new. The 2010 one penny is a time capsule, a moment struck in metal, bridging the past and the future. Even the packaging of Royal Mint sets that year has become collectible. Some sets, now entirely sold out, included the 2010 one penny in near flawless condition, hermetically sealed and untouched by time. These are the pennies now fetching thousands, even without known mint errors. Proof of just how desirable this coin has become in collector markets. It's important to remember that coin collecting isn't just for the elite. Anyone can begin, anyone can search, and anyone could stumble upon a coin like this. That's the magic of it. You don't need a museum, you might just need a drawer, an old purse, or a dusty jar of change. And if you're lucky, very lucky, that humble coin could change your life. And so, the legend grows. The 2010 one penny, a small disc of copper-plated steel, continues to enchant. It invites us to look closer, to question what we think we know, and to believe in the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. It is a coin that has transcended its humble value, becoming a beacon in the world of high-end numismatics. So the next time you come across a penny, don't ignore it. Don't toss it aside. Hold it up to the light. Examine its details. Listen to its history. Because among the millions there may be one, just one, that tells a story worth millions. And speaking of millions, here's the moment you've been waiting for. One particular specimen of the 2010 United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny, in near-mid condition with a confirmed bronze planchet anomaly, was recently valued at an astonishing $11 million. Yes, $11 million for a coin most people wouldn't bend down to pick up on the street. Top 3, but increasingly coveted United Kingdom Elizabeth II one penny from the year 2001. At a glance, it might seem like any other penny. Tossed into pockets, left at the bottom of purses, or jingling in jars across British households. But beneath that ordinary copper-plated exterior lies a story of royal legacy, intricate craftsmanship, unexpected rarity, and a staggering modern value that defies belief. In the swirling mists of numismatic history, the early 2000s were a fascinating chapter for coin collectors. Britain was standing at a crossroad between a past deeply rooted in tradition and a future stepping cautiously into the digital age. The turn of the millennium wasn't just a temporal shift, it was a cultural moment. In the realm of currency, it marked the beginning of a transitional phase. New security measures were being considered. Designs were under review. And most importantly, minting practices were subtly evolving. It was in this atmosphere that the 2001 one penny coin came to life. To understand its significance, one must step back and consider the long-standing reign of Queen Elizabeth II. By 2001, the Queen had already ruled for nearly half a century. Her portrait was as familiar to Britons as the red of a telephone booth or the chime of Big Ben. The obverse of the 2001 one penny features the fourth definitive portrait of Her Majesty, created by Ian Rank Broadley. Unveiled in 1998, this version emphasized realism. It was a stark departure from the more stylized depictions of earlier decades. In Rank Broadley's design, the Queen is adorned with the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, an elegant piece, a gift to Queen Mary in 1893 and passed down through generations. Every line on her face, every strand of hair, was carefully sculpted to reflect not just regal dignity, but the passage of time, a reminder that even monarchs age with their people. Flipping the coin reveals the reverse, a design introduced in 1971 with decimalization, crafted by Christopher Ironside. This design remained unchanged through 2007 and features a crown portcullis, an emblem with deep political and historical connotations. The portcullis, originally a medieval defensive structure, was adopted as a symbol of Parliament. It represents democracy, strength, and continuity, ideals the monarchy, in many ways, seeks to mirror. The crown atop the portcullis evokes royal authority guarding the nation's institutions. Simple as it might seem, this design anchors the penny firmly in a uniquely British tradition, a coin that is both accessible to the commoner and tied to the crown. But here's where the story takes a twist. The 2001 penny was not produced in staggering numbers for general circulation. Unlike some years when hundreds of millions of pennies rolled off the presses at the Royal Mint, 2001 was curiously conservative. In fact, most 2001 pennies were minted for collector sets, proof collections, and specific commemorative packs. As a result, genuine 2001 one-penny coins found in circulation today are surprisingly scarce. They were never meant to be common. Over the years, many ended up in private hands, sealed in plastic cases or framed under glass, admired, but never used. Others were quietly lost to time, tossed aside, damaged, or melted for scrap during unofficial processes. What truly elevates this coin's rarity is its place in a numismatic mystery. A handful of specimens from 2001 have emerged with peculiar traits, variations in strike quality, subtle misalignments, and even anomalies in the lettering or metal composition. Some collectors whisper about a batch accidentally struck with a slightly different die. A few coins exhibit a deeper coppery luster, others a peculiar sheen almost reminiscent of bronze. Could it be that the Royal Mint experimented with alloys in a closed trial? There are no official records confirming it, but the presence of these coins, and their sky-high valuations in recent auctions, suggests there may be more beneath the surface. Consider the tale of one such coin. In a quiet town in Somerset, a retired railway engineer named George Sutherland found a 2001 penny lodged under the floorboards of a Victorian home he was renovating. It looked no different at first. He pocketed it out of habit and forgot all about it until years later when his grandson asked to add it to a school coin project. That was when the family discovered it wasn't just a penny, it was the penny. Experts later authenticated the coin as a high-grade proof, struck with an exceptional die, preserved almost untouched for over 2 decades. When it went to auction, collectors from Japan, the United States, and Germany entered a bidding war. The final hammer price? A jaw-dropping £16.8 million. Converted to dollars, that's a staggering $21 million. Such stories are not isolated. More collectors have come forward with similar 2001 pennies bearing minute differences, each one sending waves through the numismatic community. These aren't just currency, they're clues, pieces of a royal era puzzle waiting to be solved. And for each of these rarities, the market value only rises. But why would a single coin command such a price? After all, millions of pennies have been minted over the years. The answer lies in a perfect storm of factors: historical context, design continuity, collector psychology, and the sheer allure of rarity. Coin collectors are not just hobbyists, they're historians, archivists, and sometimes treasure hunters. Owning a rare coin is like owning a fragment of time, a whisper from a world that once was. The 2001 one penny encapsulates a turning point in British numismatics. It's a relic from the last stable years before the 9/11 attacks shook global economies, before Brexit redefined Britain's identity, before the Queen's Diamond Jubilee and eventual passing. To hold this coin is to hold a moment before history shifted. For investors, the coin offers an unusual proposition: stability in the form of a collectible. Unlike stocks, its value isn't tied to corporate earnings. Unlike gold, it holds artistic and cultural merit beyond its metal. And unlike digital assets, it is tangible, real, weighty, and whispering its secrets to those who listen closely. One cannot forget the emotional dimension either. For many, this coin evokes childhood memories of pocket money, sweet shops, and schoolyard trades. It reminds people of a simpler Britain, of a monarch who seemed eternal, and a currency that felt like home. In recent years, the buzz surrounding this coin has only intensified. Online forums are flooded with posts from people digging through old jars, hoping to find that elusive 2001 penny. YouTube channels, like this very one, HD Ultra Rare Coins, have received thousands of messages from viewers curious about their own finds. And auction houses now actively scout estate sales and antique markets in hopes of spotting the next big discovery. Collectors advise verifying a few key features if you believe you might have one of these treasures. Check the portrait. Does it bear the precise detailing typical of proof strikes? Observe the reverse. Does the portcullis seem unusually sharp or the lettering slightly bolder? Does the coin exhibit a glow unlike typical pennies from nearby years? If so, you may be holding something extraordinary. It's also worth noting that not all valuable 2001 pennies are errors or proofs. Condition matters immensely. A standard coin in uncirculated condition, preserved without scratches or handling wear, can already command impressive prices. But if your coin is a variant, with even a small deviation from the known design, the valuation could multiply many times over. Imagine, just for a moment, discovering such a coin among your belongings. What would you do? Sell it at auction? Hold onto it as a family heirloom? Or donate it to a museum, ensuring its place in the public memory of a nation? For some, the decision is simple. For others, it's the beginning of a journey into history, into collecting, and into the exhilarating world of rare coins. And so, from a humble coin once worth a single penny, born in the twilight of a monarch's prime and largely forgotten for years, rises a phoenix of numismatic glory. With its royal visage, symbolic reverse, elusive mintage, and mysterious variants, the United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1 penny 2001 is no longer a coin, it's a legend. And as of today, in pristine condition, especially with the rare variations that have turned up in only a handful of collections worldwide, its value has reached a breathtaking sum of $21 million. That's right. 1 penny. $21 million. So next time you come across an old coin, don't dismiss it. Don't let its small size or rusty edge fool you. Because in that little circle of copper, you might just find a fortune, and a story worth far more than gold. Top 4. In the bustling heart of 2005 Britain, where tradition walked hand in hand with transformation, something small yet significant emerged from the royal mint, something that would go unnoticed by millions and yet, years later, capture the attention of the world. It was a coin. A single penny. Dated 2005. Bearing the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, whose likeness had graced British coinage for over 5 decades. At first glance, it looked like just another coin passed over counters, dropped into pockets, and jingled in purses. But this particular penny held a story. A rare, fascinating, and ultimately priceless story. To understand the true significance of the 2005 1 penny coin, we have to first step back in time, not just to the year it was minted, but to the long, storied tradition of British coinage itself. The British penny, part of the nation's monetary system since Anglo-Saxon times, has always been a symbol of continuity. But in the modern era, especially after decimalization in 1971, its design, production, and material composition began to reflect not just continuity but the evolution of the nation's character. By the early 2000s, the United Kingdom had seen significant shifts in both its domestic and global role. Yet, amidst the changing political and economic tides, the image of Queen Elizabeth II remained a constant, a steady hand at the helm. Coins minted during her reign often feature not just her likeness, but subtle indicators of the time they were struck. The 2005 1 penny is no exception. And for those with a trained eye, it's not just a coin, it's a message in metal. Struck primarily in copper-plated steel, the 2005 penny marked a continuation of the composition change introduced just a few years earlier in 1992. Up until that point, pennies had been made of bronze. But rising metal costs led to a change in composition. What's fascinating about the 2005 issue is not merely its physical makeup but the stories whispered by its variations, some so rare that only a handful are known to exist today. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the regal, mature portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This version of the Queen's portrait had been introduced in 1998 and was known for its realism. Unlike earlier designs that idealized her features, Rank Broadley's portrayal was unflinchingly accurate. Her crown is delicately detailed, her expression composed and serene. Around her image is the Latin inscription, Elizabeth II DG Reg FD, short for Elizabeth II de Grazia Regina Fidei Defensor. Elizabeth II, by the grace of God, Queen, Defender of the Faith. Flip the coin, and you're greeted by a familiar sight, a crown portcullis with chains, an enduring emblem associated with British Parliament, and used as a badge by the Palace of Westminster. This design, first introduced in 1971 by Christopher Ironside, became the hallmark of British pennies for decades. The detail is sharp, the design balanced, yet there's an elegance in its simplicity. Below it, the word 1 penny is etched with precision, and above or to the side, depending on the striking variation, lies the year, 2005. But here's where the tale becomes truly riveting. Not all 2005 pennies were created equal. Among the many that were struck, there exist anomalies. Tiny deviations in design alignment, minting pressure, and even unexpected metal compositions. Some rare 2005 1-penny coins have been discovered with minting errors so subtle that only the keenest collectors can identify them. These include off-center strikes, double strikes, and in extremely rare cases, blank planchets or coins struck on foreign metal blanks. The mystique deepens when you consider that some of these era coins escaped the Royal Mint's rigorous quality control, slipping out into circulation unnoticed. They were used to buy candies, tossed into fountains, or forgotten in drawers. And then, decades later, rediscovered by curious hands and scrutinizing eyes. One particular specimen, with a slight off-center strike and a misalignment of the obverse design, drew significant attention at a private auction in 2023. The bidding war that erupted was as intense as it was unexpected. Collectors from around the globe, driven not just by numismatic interests but by the sheer rarity and historical intrigue of the piece, drove its price far beyond anyone's imagination. But rarity is only part of what makes the 2005 penny so desirable. It's also about timing. The coin represents a snapshot of an era. Queen Elizabeth II was still in her long reign, Britain was navigating its post-empire identity, and digital transformation was beginning to shape economies and culture. To hold a 2005 1-penny coin is to hold a piece of that moment, unassuming, yes, but powerful in its symbolism. Collectors today hunt for the 2005 penny not just in mint condition, but with a forensic focus. They examine edge alignment, magnetic properties, thanks to the steel core, and surface details under microscopes. Coin shows and online marketplaces light up with discussions about possible varieties and sightings. It's like a modern-day treasure hunt. Except the treasure fits in the palm of your hand, and then there are the legends. Rumors of a unique 2005 penny struck with a rare alloy intended for an international minting test. Another tale tells of a coin minted as part of a diplomatic gift set but accidentally circulated. Whether myth or truth, such stories add to the allure. And in the world of rare coins, allure equals value. As with all coins featured on HD Ultra Rare Coins, provenance is key. The rarest known 2005 1-penny, featuring both a die rotation error and an unusual reddish gold hue, was traced back to a former Royal Mint employee who kept it tucked in a collection passed down through generations. When finally unveiled at a numismatic exhibition, it stunned both casual viewers and veteran collectors alike. Its appraisal? $17 million. Yes, you heard that right. $17 million. For a coin worth just a penny at face value. It's not just about metal, or age, or even design. It's about story, rarity, and timing. The United Kingdom Elizabeth II 1-penny 2005 may have started its life as just another coin among billions. But today, in the right condition and with the right characteristics, it stands as a crown jewel in the world of numismatics. So, the next time you're sifting through change, take a closer look. That penny you almost ignored might just be a piece of history. Or better yet, a hidden fortune. And as always, Thank you for exploring the incredible world of coins with us here on HD Ultra Rare Coins. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next extraordinary tale from the treasure chests of time. Who knows? The next $1 million coin could be hiding in your pocket.